Welcome back, everybody. I hope that we enjoyed the break and the music. I was really taken by that the second performer when I saw those two songs performed, and really wanted to share it with everyone today. And I also thought that the take on travel and moving was great as well. So I'd like to introduce Christopher Wood, who is he's an aviation accessibility consultant with Flying Disabled, and Chris has exciting news for all of us, and we're looking forward to hearing how you're putting everything together. I'll give it to you, Chris.
Thank you very much. Can everybody hear me and see me okay?
Yes, but I don't believe, do you have a presentation right now? I see.
Yeah, I think Kevin has it. Kevin, do you want to, as and when you're ready? If you haven't, Kevin, don't worry, I will carry on regardless.
Kevin, do you have? It's 1 second, it's coming up right now.
Okay. Yeah, it was a good turn of music. Tempted to get the guitar out myself, which is behind me there. Maybe do an old country song.
Great. Okay, here we go.
Thank you very much. Thank you, Kevin. Great to be here, listening to all the speakers during the day, and the subject and the wherewithal to get better accessibility in aviation is clearly on the move and on the up post the pandemic. So I started Flying Disabled many years ago, basically because flying with my two children. So if you could give us the next slide, please, Kevin. So that is my daughter there on the left, and she likes to go skiing. She sits in a power ski and goes very fast down some icy slopes. I don't know where she gets that from, because as far as I'm concerned, it's a death wish, and I don't go on holiday to get cold. And my son Jordan there graduated last year at university. He's now doing his master's, and he's been doing his degree on sports journalism, and he would like to travel the world and report on F1. He's getting great support in F1 to push him through. And so I want them to have a comfort, a safe and a dignified flying experience. So this is where I've really started to, that's my passion, it's for them. And let's see if we can make that happen. Can I have a consonant, please, Kevin? So I traveled around the world and meeting at conferences, trying to talk to aviation and airlines and try and understand the reasons why we cannot, as yet, access an aircraft sitting in a power wheelchair, yet other modes of transport across the world have all designed and innovated to make that all happen. So I learned a lot. It's a thin metal tube going around the sky, and the revenue is the base of most airline business, and that's the byword in with the airlines. And met some great people. And what I did realize that first of all, I thought they would hang me as soon as I walked into these conference halls, but quite the reverse. We've discovered that there are many people in there who this is very, very close to home. Could I have the next slide, please, Kevin? So last year, I set up a consortium which is made up of myself, Paul Priestman from Priestman Good, and Nigel Smith from SWS Certification. And what we have come up with a concept, and I'm so sad that I can't deliver that for you today, but I can talk around it. But essentially what we're trying to create here is with Priestman Good. Those who don't know Priestman Good, or Paul Priestman and Nigel Good, they are one of the biggest air transport designers in the world. And Nigel Smith at Aircraft SWS is similar field with certification. So anything that we're going to put forward will not only have an air design, but certification. So it has two methods of getting through. So it's not going to be a chemically enhanced concept. It's going to be really thought about. If I could have the next slide, please. So that's what the consortium's called, is Air for All Systems. And we want to try and be quite ambitious, and that anything that goes on inside an aircraft that needs to be looked at and and by way of accessibility, that we can, like the Suez Canal, it can come through us, and we can design, we can certify, and listen to the concerns of all the stakeholders involved. Can I have the next slide, please? And this is what we want to do: new, innovative concepts by way of design and certification. And this is to assist disabled passengers when flying by air. Now, we've got a concept that we have under lock and key. I can't talk about it. If I did, I will be shot, which is never very good. But it will hopefully be out for release next week. Next slide, please, Kevin. So this is Paul Priestman. I mean, literally drew this on a piece of paper in front of me. This is what the journey would look like. So the power wheelchair would come through the airport and onto the airline. So yeah, I've looked at this a lot and discussed this with people. What are the ramifications for an airport if that happens? And I'll leave you to just study that picture at the moment, because that's, in simple terms, that's exactly what it is. So we can have the next slide, please, Kevin. So the implications, if a power wheelchair can access the aircraft cabin without assistance for an airport, these are the bullet points. There's speedier turnaround times for the aircraft, clearly, quicker access for the cleaning teams, crew released earlier, operational efficiency will go through the roof. You will be using less agents. You know, it just removes any litigation as good as you can get it. And it will enhance the reputational impact. And you know, assistance services proficiency will be greatly enhanced, and customer services will have great QSM scores. I kind of invite any airports out there to contact me if they've got other ideas, but I'm sure if you get your calculator out, there is hundreds of thousands of pounds to be saved here. Not only as you get to the cabin door, no one will have to lift my son out of his wheelchair and putting on one of those aisle chairs, which incidentally are designed for the aircraft, not for the person sitting in it. And then from there, that wheelchair is then taken down to placed in a ULD, then into the hold of an aircraft. So we're cutting out quite a larger proportion of the journey in what will happen in terms of it's just making that journey easier. But the biggest and the most important thing, we bring dignity back, we bring safety back, we bring so many great things about this that will change the lives of millions of people. And can I have the next slide, please? Yeah, that's about it. Thank you very much. And the next slide, please, Kevin. Final one. When the seagulls follow the trawler, it's because they think sardines will be thrown into the sea. But you can follow my progress in the usual places on Twitter, Facebook, LinkedIn, and now Tinder. Yeah, that's right. I've taken all platforms now. And that's the final slide. Thank you, Kevin. I will welcome any questions. I actually thought I only had 15 minutes, so apologies, and I'd be very welcome to take any questions if there are any, but I would also be very welcome to take anybody that wants to contact me that feels that airports that the role they could play in supporting this when it finally comes out. And if anybody wants the press release, again, to email me so they'll get it in the inbox as soon as it comes out, which will be hopefully next week. We're just waiting for some stakeholders to sign off. That's about it, Roberto and William.
Good afternoon, Chris. It's always exciting to hear about your progress, although you couldn't say much, but you said a lot more than you usually do, which is already a step in the right direction. Hopefully next week your project will come to life officially.
That would be nice.
Have you, just out of curiosity, have you been liaising with regulators? Because of course there will be an impact on regulation over this novel solution.
We have both here and across the sea, and they are both in a neutral way very supportive of it. But one of the things when talking to one of the regulators was, Chris, whatever you do, we need this harmonized. We can't have this happening in Australia but not happening in America and so forth. It needs to be harmonized and rolled out so that we for once we have some harmonization and accessibility, and there are better people than me looking at Part 382 and 1107, and they need to be harmonized as desperate as you like. And I know there are good people working on that, Roberto. So the answer to your question, yes, they're part of it and want to be very involved with it.
Now, of course, which brings us to my next question. Your work implies that you're going to provide this solution short haul and long haul at the same time, or will you start from one?
Well, the solution
We've
actually chosen the hardest nut to crack, and that is a single aisle aircraft. Single aisle aircraft are now travelling further, and most airlines are buying more single aisle aircraft than the twin aisle. Although I believe the 380s are coming back in from British Airways, I could be wrong. But single aisle aircraft is where we've done it. So if by doing a single aisle aircraft, we have effectively cracked the hardest nut, because when I can show it, you will see that there is so much flexibility. And the wonderful thing about this concept, Roberto, is that there is no PAX places lost, none whatsoever. And if you look at the access board, that was a report that came out on behalf of the DOT in the States, I mean, they kind of implied the report that you're going to need to take 2 rows out. No, that's never going to be bought in airlines. With this system, there's no loss of PAX place.
So you're talking about an actual revolution.
Absolutely, there'll be a revolution, and it will be up 30,000 feet up in the air, mate. That'd be televised, but it might be on mobile.
That's always good and refreshing to know, and I'm sure that in the community, those who cannot access air travel because they really need bespoke support, and this cannot be given with the conventional solutions available nowadays, they can't be more eager for you to succeed.
Roberto, we had to take this to a few people just to make sure we get some feedback, and I took it to some people I know very well in the disabled community. It's going to change their life, absolutely change their life. I had one person literally crying over it, said, God, this means I can travel knowing my wheelchair will A, be at the destination, and B, it won't get broken. It's going to change the life, and this should bring more revenue. And the other thing, and I think many people have touched on this today, is not only do we bring more revenue by those disabled wheelchair users, let's say, that now can travel, or effectively when it comes out, but we've got to focus on elderly, less mobile passengers. And those are often loyal customers of the airlines. And there's no data on this. They're just going, yeah, I ain't flying anymore. No, it's too much aggravation. I don't want to do this anymore. And I've known firsthand, I've heard this. And so we retain customers and bring new customers. What's not to like?
That's excellent. Well, thank you very much, Chris, for your contribution. William, do you have any questions of yours?
I don't have any questions. I'm just looking forward to next week. And I really appreciate, Chris, all the work that you've done. I personally know that this has been something that has been a personal mission for you for many years now. And I applaud you and really do appreciate that you have stuck with this, and look forward to next week. Thank you.
Thank you very much, William and Roberto. And it's always good to have you guys around for a sounding board. I know that.